Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our discussion is focusing on the notions of thematic roles. When we are talking about thematic roles, or sometimes it is also called semantic roles, we have to be well informed with the notions of category or categories of linguistic units, and we also have to be well informed with the notions of the functions of linguistic units. If we are already well informed with those two important notions, so we can discuss the notions of thematic roles. So you can read this book. Okay, so it is about the category, functions, and the roles of linguistic units. Well, I think let me give you philosophical illustrations about the difference between category, function, and role. Okay. Fauzi Shamsuar is a man. A man here is a category. There is another person. Her name is Rusi Susilawati. So the category of that person is different from my category. I am a man and that person is a woman. Man and woman are categories. I belong to man category. Rusi Susilawati belongs to woman category. Or let's make it more general, belongs to female category. So I belong to male category. So we got married some time ago. So we still have our own category. I am a man. I belong to male category, and she belongs to female category. When we got married, beside having category, we have got new function. My function is as her husband, and her function is becomes my wife. You see, my category is still a man, is still a female. So I function as a husband when I collocate with my wife. So I am a man. It is a category. So my function as a friend when I collocate, when I am together with Wawan, for example, my best friend, with Cahyo. So my category is still a man, but I have got different function. I become a wife, I become a husband for Rusi Susilawati. I become best friend for Cahyo or Wawan. Okay, and Alhamdulillah, in 2006 Rafa was born, and in 2009 Zahra was born. So when I am together, I am a man to category. So when I am together with Rusi Susilawati, my function becomes a husband, and my function becomes best friend for Cahyo, and my function becomes father for Rafa and Zahra. Okay. So wife and husband, husband is a function. And then what is the role of a husband? The role of a husband is to take care of his family, to take care of his wife. And the role of the father, okay, the father is the function, another function when I am together with my children. And the role is to educate my children. And also my role My function is husband for my wife, and my role is becoming a best friend for her. Get the point? Best friend for my wife is not function, but role. Best friend for Cahyo is a function and also role. Soulmate, okay. Okay, I do hope my philosophical explanation can lead you to the idea of the difference between category, function, and role. Let's come back to language. Yeah, so we already talked about category and functions in syntax. Now it is in semantics, pragmatics. So we are focusing on roles. We are focusing on semantic roles or thematic roles. Okay. Let me give an example. Let's still talk about subject predicate. So they are functions, right? Okay. There is a sentence. J.K. Rowling wrote the novel. Okay, you know the novel? Who? Harry Potter. Okay. Which one is the subject? J.K. Rowling. Which one is the predicate? Wrote the novels. So which one is the object? Novel. So what is wrote? Wrote is the head of a phrase that become the predicate. Okay. Okay. Now we already talked about paraphrasing. Let's paraphrase the sentence or the proposition. Okay, now J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. Please say it in other words. Me, sir. Okay, so one of you become the volunteer to paraphrase the sentence. The novel. Okay, J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. And then how do you paraphrase it? Okay, sir. I paraphrase it into the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Meaningfully, they are the same. Okay, they are the same, almost the same, nearly the same, because there is difference between. Okay, so you successfully paraphrased J.K. Rowling wrote the novels into what you call that the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Now I'm asking you again, which one is the subject in J.K. Rowling wrote the novels? The subject is J.K. Rowling, and then the predicate is wrote the novels. The wrote is the verb, and then novel is the object. Now you told me that the novel was written by J.K. Rowling is other words of J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. Which one is the subject in the novel was written by J.K. Rowling? The novel? Are you sure? And which one is the predicate? Was written by J.K. Rowling? So which one is the object? Okay, so you see that there is a problem. So syntax doesn't really, it can help you, but it doesn't really give you clearer idea. That is the reason why in semantics you told me that what you call that J.K. Rowling wrote the novels and the novel was written by J.K. Rowling are the same. So I'm asking you, let me use a term which is called agent. What is agent? Agent is the doer of an activity. What is agent? The doer of an activity. J.K. Rowling wrote the novel. Which one is the doer? J.K. Rowling. Agent is the doer of an activity. Which one is the activity? Please pantomime the activity. Okay? Now let's come to the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Which one is the doer? J.K. Rowling, right? Okay, so it doesn't, the idea is still there. Okay, in J.K. Rowling wrote the novels, you pantomime what you call that the activity is something like this. Yeah, something like this. In the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Which one is the doer? J.K. Rowling still. Okay, and then what is agent? Agent is the doer of an activity. Which one is the doer? The doer of an activity in the situation of the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Still. Okay. And then J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. J.K. Rowling is the agent and the activity is, right? And then what about the novel? It is called patient. What is patient? Patient is something which is being, what you call that, being, something becomes affected by the activity. And in the novel was written by J.K. Rowling, which one is the agent? J.K. Rowling, which one is the activity? And then the form was written, not wrote anymore, because it is passive voice. Okay, so you discuss this in grammar. And then which one is the patient? The patient is the novel. What is patient again? It is something which is affected by the activity. Okay, you see that there is, you can show that J.K. Rowling wrote the novels is just the same as the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. Not the same, almost the same. There is still the difference. What is the difference? I am telling you, I am asking you. When you say J.K. Rowling wrote the novels, what are you talking about actually? What is your focus actually? Are you focusing on J.K. Rowling or are you focusing on the novel? J.K. Rowling, Pak. And then why did you paraphrase J.K. Rowling wrote the novel into the novel was written by J.K. Rowling? Why did you say the novel was written by J.K. Rowling? Because I want to highlight, I want to underline, I want to focus on the novel. Okay, that is the difference. But the what you call that, the role, the thematic roles are just the same. Oh yeah, remember, an entity, a single entity, can have more than one role. Okay, so my role as my wife, becoming the best friend. My role to my children, becoming educator. And then the role of J.K. Rowling. In J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. Besides, as the agent, it also becomes the theme. Okay? And then the novel was written by J.K. Rowling. The novel, besides having a role as the patient, it becomes the theme. What is theme? The theme is what are you talking about? What you are talking about. Okay. I hope it can get clearer. And then J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. J.K. Rowling is, besides become the agent, it is the theme. And then the other parts of theme is rime. In syntax you call it predicate. Okay? please read my books. So it is the books that please read this book. So it is written in Indonesian language. Hopefully it can help you to understand what we are talking about easier. Okay, we already talked about theme and rhyme. Okay, theme is what you are talking about. Rhyme is the what explain the theme. In syntax, you call it subject and predicate. And it turns out that in syntax, you call it subject, verb, and then object. And in semantics, we call them doer, agent. What is agent? The doer of an activity. And then activity, and then the patient. But object, so it means that object in syntax is always patient in thematic roles, in semantics. No, not always. And then the subject is not always agent. Let me give an example. For example, Albert saw a sexy, let's say, Albert was sitting on a bench. Okay, Albert was sitting on a bench. So you see the campus bench on the on the chair. Okay, on the park bench. Albert was sitting on a park bench. What is the role of Albert? Agent. What is agent? Doer of an activity. Which one is the activity? Was sitting or sat. Okay. What is on the bench? So it is a place. Okay. Oh, adverbial. Yeah. So in syntax you call it adverb, but in thematic roles it is place. Yeah. And then suddenly a sexy girl passed by. Albert who saw a sexy girl. Okay. Can you get the situation? Albert saw the sexy girl. So, in the situation Albert saw the sexy girl, so what is the role of Albert here? Doer? What is doer? Agent? What is agent? Doer of an activity. Albert saw the sexy girl. Saw a sexy girl. Albert saw a sexy girl. So which one is the activity? No, there is no activity. See is not active verb. It is active verb. See? So Albert saw a sexy girl. So Albert saw a sexy girl. It is not an agent. It is an experiencer. What is experiencer? Experiencer is an entity who experiences a situation or a state. Which one is the state? Saw a sexy girl. Okay, so here is the state because it is stative verb, right? That is the reason why it is called stative verb in grammar. And then sexy girl is patient. Okay. Albert saw a sexy girl. It's okay. No problem. But the problem occurs when, and after that, Albert was looking at the girl. Albert was looking at the girl situation. Albert here, what is the role of Albert in Albert was looking at the sexy girl? Agent or experiencer? Agent. What is agent? Doer of an activity. Which one is activity? Looking at the girl. Albert saw a sexy girl is an experiencer because see is a stative verb and then it is a what you call situation, experiencer is someone who experienced a state or a situation. Albert was looking at the sexy girl is no longer an experiencer but the doer of an activity. Which one is the activity? Looking at the girl. Okay? Yeah. So we already talked about theme, rhyme, agent or doer an activity, and then what you call that? Patient, and then experiencer, state. Okay, and then like I was asking, so not always subject is doer, not subject is not always agent, it can be experiencer. Object is not always patient, it can be beneficiary. For example, J.K. Rowling wrote the novels. Novel is patient. And then what about J.K. Rowling gave the novel to her. J.K. Rowling is a woman. J.K. Rowling gave the novel to her fans. Okay, J.K. Rowling. Okay, the situation is J.K. Rowling gave the novels about J.K. Rowling gave the signed novels to her fans. So, what is the role of J.K. Rowling? Agent. Agent is doer of an activity. Which one is the activity? Gave. And then what about novel? Patient. Okay. And then what about to her fans? Beneficiary. Okay. And then there is another example that so I hope that it can give you clearer explanation, a clearer concept, the difference between beneficiary and patient. Yeah, oh yeah, Pak, now I do understand. In grammar, we call it direct object and indirect objects. Okay, you can go over my book. So I also explain the relation between, how do you relate direct object versus indirect object to beneficiary and patient. Okay, so we already talked about theme, rhyme, agent and activity, and then experiencer and state, and then so we already talked about the beneficiary and patient, and then there is a certain concept which is called what you call that? In instrument. Okay, so before I explain you instrument, let me explain. Let's say, where is my key? Okay, let me read my key. Okay, the key. You can see this key. Okay, so let's say one of you have got your key. Let's say Johannes has got a motorcycle, and then the key of Johannes' motorcycle can open my car, not only this car. And then how good? Okay, scary. Yeah. That is the what you call syntactic sentence. The key can open the key. Johannes key, the key of Johannes' motorcycle can open my car, it doesn't mean that the key opens my car's door, but in other words, we can say someone can open Pak Fauzi's car's door by using the key of Johannes' motorcycle as an instrument. It's too long. And then the common expression used by English speaker is Johannes, the key of Johannes' motorcycle can open Pak Fauzi's car's door. Okay, or the key can open the car's door. And the key here is not an agent, because who is the doer? The doer is someone, anyone, okay, can open, because the activity is open. So the key can open the car. In the proposition, in the utterance, the key can open the car. The key is not the doer, but instrument. You can see when I explain it, when I paraphrase it into anybody can open the door's car by using Johannes, the key of Johannes' motorcycle as an instrument. Okay? Yeah. Okay, and then we already talk about place, okay, source, and then the goal or destination. And I hope you can read this book. The writer has been trying to explain it as concise as possible, and then please read that. So it is already 27 minutes 28 seconds, and I think I can stop. Please pay attention to the notions of the thematic roles. So make sure that you are already well informed with the notions of categories, which are different from functions, and then roles are the notion which are the notion in semantics, which are closely related to the notions of functions and categories that we discuss in syntax. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. We will continue our discussion next meeting. The last word for me today is Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.